Today's news highlights. Date February 21, 2025. News highlights: the Ministry of Education announced that it will prohibit domestic universities from cooperating or exchanging with schools affiliated with the United Front Work Department of the Communist Party of China, and will not accept the academic qualifications of Huaqiao University, Guangzhou Jinan University, and Beijing Chinese Language and Culture University. Existing students will consider remedial measures. Experts believe that this is a minimum standard and that other universities should be observed to see if they are involved in United Front concerns. The government emphasizes academic freedom and national security, while some have criticized the policy as politically motivated. Cross-strait academic exchanges need to be carefully assessed to prevent the infiltration of the United Front and affect Taiwan. News highlights: France and the United Kingdom are working on plans to form a security force to rely on the superiority of Western air forces and implement a ceasefire agreement in Ukraine with the support of the United States to prevent Russian aggression. The unit will protect key Ukrainian facilities and ensure the safety of commercial flights and Black Sea trade. British Prime Minister Starmer will meet with US President Donald Trump to discuss US support. Trump's criticism of Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has aroused concern among European allies. Officials stressed that the plan still needs to be refined, and some European countries are discussing the details of the deployment with NATO. News highlights: US President Donald Trump said the US and China could reach a new trade deal and revealed that Xi Jinping would visit the United States, but did not provide a timetable. He said the US is negotiating TikTok with China in hopes of facilitating a sale. The outside world believes that the dialogue between the United States and China may affect trade tariff policy. In addition, Trump expressed confidence that a deal with Russia would end the war in Ukraine and believed that Russia had an advantage on the battlefield. Tensions between the US and China continue to be on trade, cybersecurity, Taiwan, and more. News highlights: the Ministry of Finance announced new rules for the calculation of housing transactions in 113, raising the profit margin of high-priced residential buildings from 17% to 20%, and adding a new unit price threshold per ping, such as Taipei City of more than 1.2 million yuan per square meter. The thresholds in various regions have been adjusted simultaneously to expand the scope of application, and it is estimated that more than 4,000 transactions will be affected. For non-luxury houses, the proportion of the assessed present value of the house will be increased, affecting 200 administrative districts. This move is aimed at getting closer to the actual income of the market, which may increase the tax burden on transactions and affect the buying and investment strategies of the real estate market. News highlights: the FSC announced 6 major relaxations, among which the relaxation of the restriction on the proportion of a single stock of Taiwan stock ETFs attracted the most attention. TSMC accounts for about 38% of the market capitalization of the Taiwan stock market, and the existing ETF holds about 20% of the shares, which is expected to attract 30 billion yuan of capital inflow after the relaxation, pushing up the stock price and stabilizing Taiwan stocks. This reduces the problem of ETFs underperforming the broader market and reduces tracking error. The stock exchange expects to complete the correction in the first half of this year, and once it is on the road, it will give Taiwanese stock ETFs more room to increase TSMC and further activate the market. News highlights: the Executive Yuan passed the draft amendment to the Civil Code for relatives. The key points include adjusting the conditions for claiming alimony after divorce, and the recipient loses the right to claim when he remarries. Child support will not be affected, adding a certain period of separation as a cause for divorce. Strengthen the obligation to disclose marital assets to ensure a fair distribution of surplus assets. Revise the order of maintenance obligations to protect the rights and interests of minor children. The Ministry of Justice emphasized that the amendment to the law will improve the property and maintenance system after divorce to ensure a balance between the rights and interests of both parties. News highlights: Apple announced the new affordable iPhone 160 on the 19th, US time, priced at $599, $170 more expensive than the previous generation iPhone SE, and opened pre-orders on the 21st Beijing time, and officially went on sale on the 28th. The iPhone 160 is equipped with a self-developed 5G modem, upgraded processor, and Face ID, and the home button and fingerprint sensor have been removed, and the screen has been increased to 6.1 inches. However, the lack of features such as MagSafe, wireless charging, and camera buttons has made the market worry about sales performance, which has affected Apple's related stock price. News highlights: the Ministry of Finance reminds the public that if they sold used houses that were subject to the old tax system last year, they must remember to declare them when filing their tax returns in May this year. The declaration steps are as follows: 1. Review the cost and transaction price information, and if there is actual evidence, it can be calculated according to the selling price minus cost. 2. If there is no cost information, it must be calculated according to the standard issued by the ministry, with a profit margin of 20% for luxury properties and present value for non-luxury properties. 3. When calculating, the luxury house needs to distinguish the part of the house and the land, and then calculate the income according to the regulations. News highlights: Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky said that Ukraine is ready to reach a strong investment and security agreement with the United States. Zelensky met with U.S. Special Envoy for Russia and Ukraine Kellogg to discuss the situation of the Russia-Ukraine war, Ukraine's security, and prisoners of war. He stressed that cooperation with the United States is essential for Ukraine and the free world, and pledged to make every effort to advance the agreement process and ensure lasting peace to prevent Russia from resuming its offensive. News highlights the Legislative Yuan will hold a meeting next week, and DPP legislator Lin Daehwa will be prosecuted and interrogated for a judicial case, and whispers will circulate inside the Green camp, suggesting that the legislators who are not affiliated with Lai may face liquidation. Zhao Xiaokong pointed out that the DPP's primary election was fiercely infighting, and Lin Daehwa made a high-profile claim that she was leading in the polls, and Lai King may not allow her. The Green Camp online community discussed the matter, believing that this was a suppression of non-dependent legislators within the party. The Democratic Progressive Party, DPP, said it would decide whether to file the case according to the progress of the prosecution. News highlights the San Antonio Spurs have announced that star Victor Wembanyama will miss the rest of the season due to a deep vein thrombosis in his right shoulder. This condition is treated with anticoagulant drugs and physical contact sports are avoided to avoid the risk of bleeding. Wembanyama had an excellent season with an average of 24.3 points, 11.0 rebounds, and 3.7 assists, and had a chance to be the top picker. He will not be able to receive the annual awards, including Defensive Player of the Year, which is now most likely to go to Jaren Jackson Jr. due to not meeting the required number of appearances. News highlights 42-year-old actor Hu Ji was recently hospitalized for lung cancer due to online rumors, and Hu Ji's studio issued a statement on the evening of the 20th to refute this rumor and said that it would reserve the right to pursue legal action. The studio stressed that the news was untrue, which seriously infringed on Hu Ji's reputation, and called for an end to rumors. This rumor aroused the anger of netizens, who supported Hu Ji and demanded that the rumor mongers be held accountable quickly. Hu Ji recently won the Magnolia Award for Flowers. News highlights $1 million YouTuber That Girl Kiki was recently traveling to Phu Quoc Island in Vietnam when she suddenly experienced symptoms such as sore throat, dizziness, and poor breathing, and was so frightened that she immediately sought medical attention. She had done her homework before departure, avoided eating stale seafood, and chose restaurants with high ratings, but still couldn't avoid getting sick. The doctor diagnosed her with acute laryngitis caused by bacteria, which caused severe swelling of her throat and required antibiotic treatment. Kiki urges everyone to pay attention to food safety and maintain good immunity when going abroad to avoid getting sick. News highlights Ta-S died of influenza complicated by pneumonia at the beginning of the month at the age of 48, and her husband Gu Junyi was deeply affected, and it was reported on the 20th that his work was suspended indefinitely, and it was difficult to get out of the pain of losing his wife. Gu Junyi has scheduled all the work, only the endorsements of the previous filming will continue, and other public activities such as DJ shows and press conferences have been suspended. He lost 6 kilograms at Big S's private farewell ceremony, which was distressing. It is still uncertain when Gu Junyi will return to work, and he will need to wait for the pain to subside a little before considering work. News highlights Yang Dachun, the lead singer of the Fire Extinguisher Orchestra, announced on the 20th that he and his wife Shandong, who had been married for 8 years, had officially divorced on November 1 last year. He said that due to the inability to achieve the ideal balance between work and family life, he decided to end the marriage after a year of communication. Despite the divorce, the two maintained a good relationship and improved in taking care of their children. Yang Dachun stressed that he will not accept interviews in the future, and called on the media to respect their private lives and wish everyone health and safety. News highlights Ouyou Zhengming, the former chairman and general manager of Huanlong Technology, 2413, applied for retirement last year and officially retired in January this year, handing over to his son Ouyou Renji to take over. Unfortunately, only 37 days later, Huanlong Technology announced that Ouyou Zhengming passed away on the 20th at the age of 81, and the specific reason for his death has not yet been disclosed. In 1984, Mr. Ouyou founded Huanlong Technology and has made significant contributions to Taiwan's semiconductor and electrical industries from ODC to IPO. At present, the position of director of the company is temporarily vacant, and new directors will be elected in accordance with the regulations. News highlights the Ministry of Economic Affairs announced that export orders in January were $46.97 billion, down 11.2% month-on-month and 3% year-on-year, ending a 10-year streak. Due to the impact of the difference in the timing of the Spring Festival, export orders are expected to reach $43.5 to $45.5 billion in February, an annual increase of 15.3% 20.6%, and will return to positive growth. Orders for information and communication products and electronic products decreased month-on-month, but demand for AI, HPC, and cloud continued to grow. Orders for servers, networking and IC manufacturing increased, and orders for traditional products decreased due to the impact of the Spring Festival and low-price competition. News highlights the number of fraud cases in Taiwan has surged, reaching 52,000 in the fourth quarter of last year, and financial losses have continued to expand. However, in January 2024, there was a significant decrease in fraud cases, a decrease of 26.2% from the previous month, and the financial loss shrank to a record low of 9.5 billion. This is due to the cooperation between financial institutions and non-governmental organizations to strengthen the propaganda of identifying and preventing fraud. The Hong Kong Police Department has also launched a new anti-fraud policy to enhance the effectiveness of fraud prevention by combining AI technology and cross-border cooperation. Fraud methods are changing with each passing day, and fake investment and online shopping fraud are still high, reminding the public to be vigilant and preventive. News highlights: the FSC announced the upgrade of the Financial Action Innovation Regulatory Adaptation Platform 2.0, introducing 6 new policies to relax regulations, including the relaxation of the pledge loan ratio of self-benefit trusts in the Kaohsiung Financial Zone, the relaxation of restrictions on Taiwan-listed ETFs, the relaxation of securities firms' separate accounts, and the relaxation of insurance investment in public construction. Implemented in April, late February, and June, the scheme aims to attract high net worth customers, reduce tracking error, increase investment flexibility in the insurance industry, and incentivize the life insurance industry to sell more protection products. News highlights: Democratic Progressive Party, DPP. Legislator Lin Dehua was investigated and searched on a large scale on suspicion of assistant fees and soliciting sponsorship fees from temple owners. She was transferred to the Male Prosecution Bureau after being questioned by the Bureau of Investigation for 16 hours and was released on bail of $1 million this morning. Lin Dehua strongly cried out for injustice, accusing the investigation process of impropriety, and questioning that he had been the target of false accusations. In addition to the controversy over the assistant fee, Lin Dehua is also associated with the Rinmu Tongfa Temple, and it is rumored that he has raised funds from manufacturers to support the temple's activities, which has raised questions about his political donations and the flow of money. Further investigation is ongoing. News highlights: Internet celebrity Sun Sheng terminated the contract after being sentenced for a sexual harassment case, and DK was dissatisfied with his handling and repeatedly bombarded him on the internet. Subsequently, Sun Sheng's emotional collapse after the termination of the contract, DK took the initiative to care. On the 19th, DK issued an apology and said that his excessive involvement was an attack of Our Lady's disease and that he was sober. On the 20th, DK announced the suspension of the use of threads, reflecting on the pressure caused by excessive attention, and said that the focus should be turned to those who really need it. News highlights: today's WBC qualifying tournament started, the Chinese team played Spain for the first time, and the surprise soldier did not send ace pitcher Su Ruoxi as expected, but Chen Yeheng took the lead. Chen Yeheng, who played for the Eagles of the Chinese vocational Taiwan Steel, had a mediocre record last year, but has performed well recently, and although he was not selected to the 36-man squad, he was still selected to the 28-man roster. Spain sent Lifa, who had played for the mid-career Lottie Pichape, to start. This time, the Chinese team chose Chen Yeheng because the Spanish team is not good at playing hook balls. News highlights: under the influence of the northeast monsoon and cold air mass, northern Taiwan turned wet and cold, with heavy rain and strong gusts in local areas. From Sunday, 23, to next Monday, 24, the intensity of the cold air mass will increase, and the low temperature in the north may drop to 7 degrees Celsius, reminding the public to pay attention to keeping warm. Today, the temperature in the north and northeast is about 13-15 degrees C, the central and southern parts are about 16-17 degrees C, the high temperature is 16-18 degrees C in the north, and the central and southern parts are 20-25 degrees C. Locally brief rain, other areas are cloudy to clear. News highlights: UMC founder CAO Xing Cheng was recently involved in a peach turmoil, and Xia Hanbing broke the news that he had a Chinese junior and exposed private photos. When attending a public event on the 20th, CAO stressed that this was a smear by China to avoid a general recall. Former legislator Chu Yi criticized CAO's mishandling of the crisis, pointing out that the turmoil stemmed from the heroine in the photo, and suggested that CAO should solve the problem with her instead of accusing Xia Hanbing. He argues that CAO's approach fails to address the core issues and instead overemphasizes external conspiracies. News highlights: Chinese actor Hu Jie was recently rumored to have lung cancer and was hospitalized, and the news went viral on the internet, shocking the entertainment industry. In this regard, Hu Jie's studio issued a clarification on the 20th, strongly refuting these untrue rumors, and pointed out that the rumors seriously infringed on Hu Jie's reputation, and said that the relevant personnel would be held legally responsible. Hu Jie fans expressed their outrage and called on the studio to file a lawsuit as soon as possible to curb the rumors. News highlights: after the death of DS, Su Ziwan, her ex-husband Wang Xiaofei brought his wife Mandy to Taiwan in a low-key manner, causing speculation about whether he was involved in the disputed property. Wang Xiaofei's mother, Zhang Lan, turned to TikTok to release a new video due to the indefinite ban of her Douyin account in China, portraying female entrepreneurs and emphasizing society's prejudice against female entrepreneurs. Recently, Zhang Lan has a haggard face and sunken cheeks, which may be due to frequent career difficulties. She was criticized for using the deceased to hype up her controversial remarks in support of her godson Xiaojian, and was banned from multiple accounts by Douyin. News highlights actress Chen Yangzi and mainland actor Chen Xiao have a son after marriage, and there have been changes in their marriage in recent years, and they announced their divorce on the 18th. Huang Jingping, a famous mouth, analyzed that Chen Xiao's attitude changed greatly after marriage, many pre-marriage vows were not fulfilled, and cold violence and coldness became the norm after marriage. Huang Jingping revealed that Chen Yangzi had bought a birthday gift for herself, and even pretended to be given by Chen Xiao, and criticized the man for becoming strong and indifferent, calling on the woman to get rid of such a man. News highlights fire extinguisher frontman Yang Dachun and his ex-wife Shandong officially divorced in November 2024 after 9 years of marriage. Yang Dachun said frankly that due to the inability to achieve a balance between work and family time, Shandong proposed the idea of ending the marriage at the end of 2023, and the two finally decided to divorce after full communication. Despite this, Yang said that they still maintain a good relationship after the divorce and will support each other in facing future challenges. Shandong also retweeted Yang Dachun's post on Instagram and briefly wrote "not great," showing that the two have been able to face this change with a more relaxed attitude. Although fans are reluctant to divorce, they also send their blessings, hoping that the two can get along in the most comfortable way. News highlights the news of Big S, Su Ziwan, dying of influenza complicated by pneumonia shocked the entertainment industry, and then some netizens pointed the blame at FanWiki, Fan, and her twin sons, questioning whether they transmitted the flu to Big S. Fan made a public conversation with the doctor 19 days later, clarifying that he did not have the flu, and emphasized that his child did not attend a Skinning banquet after recovering, denying the claim of infection. She was saddened by the attacks from netizens and said that she could not accept this kind of malicious slander, especially when it involved her children. Fan appealed to everyone to be less malicious and lamented the pain of losing his friend. News highlights Xiaoyu has recently been involved in a turmoil with Hu Guo and Song Yu, and rumors say that she has a secret relationship with Hu Guo and Song Yu, which led to her boss Wu Zongxian terminating the contract and estranged her. Xiaoyu broke down emotionally, issued an apology statement and said that he would be more careful in choosing friends. Her former best friend Yu Xi publicly accused Xiaoyu of hurting her twice in the past, and claimed that the two had not been in contact for half a year. Song Yubeo also revealed that Xiaoyu was not sincere when he apologized, and was ready to collect evidence to file a lawsuit, saying that Xiaoyu may face serious consequences. Song Yu accused Xiaoyu of harming her, and emphasized that she would make public the evidence to further expose the matter. News highlights Group A of the World Baseball Classic qualifying tournament started today, 21st, at the Taipei Arena, and the Taiwan team played Spain for the first time at 7 p.m., with 33,000 tickets sold out, which will set a record for the largest number of viewers in a single qualifying game. The Taiwan team sent Chen Yeheng, a downhook pitcher, to start the game, while Spain was played by Lefa. The Taiwan team has won the past 4 matches against Spain, and this campaign is off to a good start. This is the first time that the arena has hosted a classic, and the event has attracted much attention, and the Taiwanese team will compete for the qualification of the 2026 intra-conference competition. News highlights Chinese technology company DeepSeek launched its AI chatbot DeepSeek, which has been banned in many countries due to alleged infringement and information security disputes. Following the removal of the US Navy and South Korea, Taiwan's National Army has banned officers and soldiers from installing the app today, 21st, to maintain information security. The Ministry of National Defense has put DeepSeek on the banned list in accordance with the regulations, and reminded officers and soldiers not to install Chinese-made communication software on their personal devices, such as WeChat, QQ, Douyin, Zaya Hongshu, etc., to prevent the leakage of personal information. South Korea said that the software may transfer user data to Chinese companies, and has been temporarily removed from the shelves until it meets information security standards before being evaluated. News highlights Fu Kunking, the chief of the Kuomintang Legislative Yuan Caucus, was absent from the negotiations between the government and the opposition on the 18th, claiming to be recuperating at home due to a severe cold, but it was revealed that he actually went to Hong Kong. On the 19th, former legislator Chen Beiwei exposed a video of Fu's speech in Hong Kong, claiming to promote tourism cooperation on behalf of the Taiwan government, which was criticized by public opinion. On the 20th, Fu Kunking admitted to going to Hong Kong, but insisted that Hualien Tourism was working hard and denied false accusations. When he returned to Taiwan, political commentator Chen Kainan angrily scolded him as a Chinese lackey at the airport, which sparked heated discussions, and netizens enthusiastically discussed and expressed their dissatisfaction with Fu's behavior. News highlights Democratic Progressive Party legislator Lin Dehua was suspected of fraudulently receiving assistant fees, and his office and service office were searched on the 20th, and after 16 hours of investigation, he was transferred to the Kaohsiung District Prosecutor's Office in the early morning of the 21st, and finally paid bail of 1 million yuan, and restricted from leaving the country to go to sea and live. She stressed her innocence and criticized the dark forces for striking her will. In addition, the investigation of his past temple sponsorship cases have also been interviewed. The Kaohsiung District Prosecutor's Office said that some of the people involved in the case have colluded and destroyed evidence, and will continue to investigate thoroughly, emphasizing that there are no political considerations. News highlights Democratic Progressive Party Taipei City Councilor Chen Yujun was involved in fraudulently receiving 3 million yuan in assistant fees, and the original ruling was 1 million yuan to be paid on bail, and after the prosecution successfully appealed, the Shillin District Court changed the ruling on the 20th to detain him for 2 months, believing that he was at risk of colluding with witnesses. The prosecution alleged that since 2019, she had used a head assistant to fraudulently collect salaries, and the director had managed the accounts. Chen Yujun was transferred to the detention center last night and did not respond to the media during the whole process. The Taipei City Party Department of the Democratic Progressive Party only said that it would be dealt with on the 26th, and the party's worries would affect its political future. News highlights Yang Dachun, the lead singer of the Fire Extinguisher Orchestra, announced on the 20th that he and his wife Shandong, who has been married for 8 years, have officially divorced on November 1, 2023. He admitted that because he could not balance work and family, he decided to separate after a year of communication. Yang stressed that the two still maintain a good relationship, take care of the children together, and hope that the outside world will respect his private life and no longer respond to related questions. News highlights Da-S died of influenza complicated by pneumonia earlier this month at the age of 48. Husband Gu Junyi is deeply in the pain of losing his wife and has stopped work indefinitely, only maintaining the endorsement cooperation of the previous shooting. Friend Xu Yongzhi revealed that Gu Junyi lost about 6 kilograms at the farewell ceremony, which was distressing. At present, he has no plans to return to work, and needs to wait for his mood to calm down before considering future developments. News highlights a Taiwanese netizen witnessed Taiwanese tourists shopping in Shinsaibashi, Japan, and was stopped by the clerk because his friend cut the queue to help check out, and then the clerk complained in Japanese, "Is it Taiwanese quality again? Make the original Po feel bad." The incident has sparked online discussions, with some criticizing some Taiwanese for their inappropriate behavior overseas, while others believe that Japan's declining impression of all tourists is not just for Taiwanese. News highlights urination status can reflect health problems, and the following should be noted. 1. Abnormal color, dark yellow or orange may be dehydration or liver problems. 2. Frequent urination, urgency, urinary incontinence, which may be related to urinary tract infection, diabetes or prostatic hypertrophy. 3. Peculiar smell, the urine of diabetic patients may have a sweet taste, an infection is accompanied by a foul smell. 4. Painful or burning sensation in urine, which may be a urinary tract infection, stones, or STDs. 5. Hematuria, which may be caused by infection, stones, nephritis, or kidney cancer. 6. If the urine output is too large or too small, kidney function and blood sugar should be checked. News highlights Democratic Progressive Party, DPP, legislator Lin Dehua was suspected of violating the anti-corruption regulations, and was interrogated by the prosecutor and paid bail of 1 million yuan, restricting him from leaving the country to go to sea and live. She strongly refuted the accusations, saying that this was a blow to the dark forces, and stressed that she had followed the law and defended the innocence of the public for 24 years. Lin Dehua expressed dissatisfaction with the investigation process, accusing the prosecutor of not providing evidence, and stressed that he would not give in and would continue to fight for innocence. News highlights Ren Rongyu, the founder of Weir Semiconductor, is the largest image sensor manufacturer in China and the third largest in the world. He kept a low profile but was very generous in the field of philanthropy, having donated $30 billion to build the university and donated to the Education Foundation several times. His career achievements and philanthropic donations have made him the first charity in China, and he has represented the semiconductor industry at high-profile private enterprise forums to showcase the transformation of China's economic structure. News highlights Da-S died suddenly of influenza complicated by pneumonia at the beginning of the month, which caused controversy. Some acid people accused Fan Weiki and Chen Jianzhou of being the source of infection, and Fan Weiki shared a screenshot of the conversation with the doctor on IG, confirming that she and Chen Jianzhou were not infectious. The doctor pointed out that Fan Weiki did not get the flu, and Chen Jianzhou was no longer contagious after taking the drug in the early days. Fan Weiki thanked the doctor for the certificate and expressed her helplessness at the rumors, emphasizing that the child did not attend the Ginning banquet after recovery, and called for less malice. News highlights in recent years, the topic of international travel has mostly focused on high consumption and low quality, but without considering the cost. Many people think that there are still many places worth visiting in Taiwan. Netizens mostly respect the attractions in the east and outlying islands, such as Tarakou, Huadong Rift Valley, Kinmen, Penghu, etc. Others mention scenic spots such as Wuling and Sun Moon Lake, emphasizing the natural landscape and relaxed atmosphere in the east, which they consider more attractive than the rest of the island. In addition, the unique scenery of outlying islands such as Matsu and Xiliaokyu is also favored by many tourists. News highlights Hu Ji, a 42-year-old mainland actor, was recently diagnosed with lung cancer and hospitalized, which attracted attention, but his studio clarified on Weibo, accusing the rumors of seriously infringing on Hu Ji's right to reputation and reserved the right to pursue legal responsibility. Rumors said that Hu Ji's physical examination results in September last year were not satisfactory, and the doctor recommended early treatment, and said that Hu Ji was worried about his daughter's future. Despite the studio's clarification, fans were unhappy with the speed of response, criticizing the studio for being too slow. News highlights S died suddenly of the flu in Japan, which made little S grief-stricken, and decided to ask for half a year off from Miss Bulletin City, and Wu Shanru, Sandy, took the class. During the recording, Sandy said it was stressful, but Patrick expressed his expectation that she would be substituted. Little S is still adjusting his mood and expresses his gratitude to Sandy through Patrick. B2, the producer of the show, also said that Xiao S has a strong sense of responsibility for the show and is not worried that she will not come back. As for Wang Deluo's military service, B2 said frankly that he hoped he could face it well. News highlights Democratic Progressive Party legislator Lin Dehua was investigated on suspicion of fraudulently receiving assistant fees, and shouted political interference in the judiciary on the 20th, triggering associations related to the Kaohsiung mayoral election. Today, she paid bail of 1 million yuan, emphasizing her refusal to be humiliated and saying that she would firmly defend her innocence. Lin Dehua's mother also publicly shouted injustice, accusing this of political suppression, and stressed that Lin Dehua was not short of money, only votes. News highlights in a video released by actress Jiang Jiang, Lin Jialing, on the 19th, a street friend claimed to be the head of Tainan's Shuijia branch, and revealed that due to the failure to invest in baccarat, he lost all his family property and lived on the streets. However, the Shuijia police substation clarified today that a check of the list of previous sub-chiefs did not find this person, and the man's statement was fictitious. The Taichung No. 3 police station also confirmed that the man was a 68-year-old homeless man with no record of serving in the police sector, and urged everyone to carefully verify online information to avoid misleading. News highlights the World Baseball Classic Qualifying Tournament, WBCQ, starts today, 21st, and the Taiwan team will play the Spanish team at 7 p.m. and play it at the Taipei Arena. The Taiwanese team was originally expected to start with homegrown ace pitcher Su Ruoxi, but it was Chen Yeheng who made his debut with a downhook pitcher. Chen Yeheng, who has played in the U23 World Cup in the past and performed well in the exchange matches, will face Spain's starting pitcher Rafa. Tickets for Taiwan's matches have already been sold out and are expected to hit a new high in spectator numbers. News highlights FanWiki recently opened a conversation with doctors to clarify, emphasizing that she was not infected with the flu, but that the cough was caused by mold bacteria, and her husband Chen Jianzhou was also infectious due to early medication. She said that in the face of malicious slander from netizens, especially involving children, she couldn't bear it, and hoped that there would be less malice in the world. After the incident, she deleted the article and reposted it, but some of the content was changed, which attracted attention. FanWiki has a deep relationship with Big S and is deeply saddened by Big S's sudden death. News highlights a 27-year-old male police officer surnamed OU in Yulan was suspected of sexually assaulting a female policeman, and took nude photos. After a dinner party on February 17, a male policeman surnamed OU was dissatisfied with the cold treatment of the female policeman, and went to his rented house to argue and violently and sexually assaulted, causing injuries to the woman. The policewoman reported the case after examining her injuries on the 18th, and OU Nan denied the sexual assault. The prosecution has applied to the court for detention and suspension of the prosecution, believing that the suspicion is serious and there is a risk of escape. News highlights YouTube host DK recently spoke out about Sun Sheng's sexual harassment incident, publicly criticizing Sun Sheng for not deserving of traffic, and strongly condemning his inappropriate behavior. Afterwards, DK found that Sun Sheng's physical and mental condition was not good, and felt self-blame, and even shouted, "If he dies, I will die," which aroused concern. Although he later clarified that it was only mood swings and temporarily withdrew from threads, saying that he could not bear excessive attention, he still stressed the need to listen to the victim's story with a gentle heart and continue to care about the development of the incident. News highlights Fu Kunking, the chief summoner of the Kuomintang Legislative Yuan, was recently absent from the negotiations between the government and the opposition due to a severe cold, but it was revealed that he was actually going abroad to Hong Kong to promote Hualien tourism. Fu Kunking clarified that although she was unwell, she still worked according to the itinerary and left for Hong Kong on the 18th. However, when he returned to Hualien Airport, political commentator Chen Kainan criticized him as a stooge of China and posted an article questioning his itinerary. This incident sparked a lot of discussion and intensified the confrontation between Fu Kunking and some commentators. News highlights DPP legislator Lin Dehua was searched by the prosecution for the case involving assistant fees, and was sentenced to pay 1 million yuan in bail and restricted from leaving the country to go to sea and live. Lin Dehua issued a statement outside the district prosecutor's office, emphasizing that he would defend his innocence, and criticized the blow at this moment, saying that he would not give in, and stressed that he acted in accordance with the law, not greedy or unwanted, and called for fighting for the trust of citizens and defending the dignity of Kaohsiung. News highlights Ferg Burger, a well-known burger restaurant in Queenstown, New Zealand, broke out in a racial discrimination incident, and a Taiwanese customer found the word ching chong on the receipt, which is a racial slurish. After the customer complained, the store wrote back to apologize and dismiss the employee involved. Although the store handled it, it was found that the apology letter was sent to the Chinese consulate in Christchurch, not the Taiwanese office in New Zealand, which caused concern. The Chinese consulate also asked the store to ensure that similar incidents do not happen again. News highlights a tragic car accident occurred on Xinfu Road, Fengshan District, Kaohsiung on the evening of the 17th, when a 54-year-old woman crossed the road. She was first hit by a car with a speed of 85 km per hour, and then ran over by a car behind her. The video shows that the first car did not slow down, accelerated, and did not notice pedestrians. Both drivers did not react to alcohol and were later charged with death by negligence. Netizens questioned the claim that the driver was unable to see pedestrians and criticized his actions as murder. There are schools and cram schools in the vicinity of the accident, and parents fear that similar tragedies will happen again. News highlights a recent incident at Taichung Railway Station that attracted attention. Actress Jiang Jiang, Lin Jialing, met a 68-year-old street friend surnamed Chen who claimed to be the head of Tainan Shueijia branch when she was filming a film to interview street friends, and revealed that he was living on the street because he invested in baccarat with a loss of 45 million. However, after police investigation, the man surnamed Chen did not work in the Shueijia branch, and his statement was all fiction. He explained that because he was sick and taking medication, his mind was confused and he made up stories about the past. Although he posed as a member of the police force, the incident did not involve intimidation or pose a threat to public safety and therefore did not constitute a criminal case or administrative punishment. News highlights Nato and his wife have been dating for 8 years and got married last year. This year's Chinese New Year, Yi celebrated the New Year for the first time as a wife, and mentioned that there was no pressure to get along with her mother-in-law, because her mother-in-law was very good to her and would help set the dishes and chopsticks. As for the wedding banquet plan, Yi expressed her hope to hold it in the first half of the year, and revealed that she did not plan to have children for the time being, because she wanted to wear a beautiful wedding dress first. News highlights 35-year-old Xiaoruian, Rethaline, recently suddenly announced that she had stage 0 cancer, and admitted that she panicked after hearing about stage 0 cancer and was worried that she would not be able to save her uterus. She revealed that although she had never considered having children, she still felt sad to hear the news that she couldn't give birth, and admitted that she was most afraid of her mother's broken thoughts, especially dietary restrictions. News highlights the Chinese Cultural Federation recently re-elected executive members, and CAO Xing Cheng, Yang Lizhu, Xi Mingjun and others were elected, which aroused doubts from the outside world. Xi Ming would like to respond that the number of executive members of the president's party is an inevitable consequence, and not all those elected are from the ruling party. He stressed that the executive committee of the Cultural Federation is not paid, and needs to raise funds, and even parking fees cannot be deducted. In response to criticism for being a mediocre person, he said he supported all legitimate recalls and believed that the movement should also be one of the representatives of culture. News highlights S. Su Ziwan, recently died of illness in Japan at the age of 48, and the huge inheritance after his death attracted attention. Ex-husband Wang Xiaofei and current wife Ma Xiaomei, Mandy, recently returned to Taiwan, causing the outside world to question whether they are involved in property disputes or dealing with legal matters. Wang Xiaofei has been controversial in the past due to financial disputes over the non-repayment of Big S, who has accused him of owing more than 100 million yuan and failing to fulfill relevant financial responsibilities. Wang Xiaofei did not respond to the media on this return to Taiwan, and relevant people said that they have no plans to issue a statement at present. News highlights Taichung Shinkong Mitsukoshi is suspected of causing an air explosion due to construction on the 13th, and has not resumed operations so far. The city government has set up a cordon to prohibit people from entering. The affected manufacturers said that all the goods worth 5 to 6 million yuan were stuck in the museum, and many brands only set up cabinets in Shinkong Mitsukoshi, and the goods could not be sold, and they were worried that small and medium-sized brands may face a wave of bankruptcy if they do not have sufficient cash flow. The city government also said that 28 employees had been laid off from 14 counter schemes, and some of them had been laid off due to the expiration of their contracts. News highlights Hsin University has recently set up a vending machine in its student cafeteria, which specializes in selling a variety of beauty products, such as primers, concealers, mascaras, and makeup removers, at a cheaper price than outside the market. The appearance of this vending machine has many students exclaiming, "Hsin University is so avant-garde," and sparked a heated discussion, and many female students said enviously, "Is it too late to transfer now? And I hope that my own school can also introduce it." News highlights recently, a stinky green mother, king snake, died violently during transportation, and the research team was surprised after the autopsy because its stomach was filled with plastic bags. The stinky green mother tried to digest the plastic bag, causing the stomach wall to ulcerate, and she was unable to eat, and eventually starved to death. A research team from the Department of Life Sciences at National Taiwan Normal University published this case, emphasizing the harm of plastic products to wild animals and calling for plastic reduction to protect animals, as similar cases have also been found in other species, such as sea turtles being entangled in plastic bags and deforming their shells. News highlights: heavy power stocks rose sharply in the stock market on the 20th, and Huachen, Shidian, ZTE, Yailai and others strengthened. Yailai pointed out in the legal conference that the orders in hand exceeded 10 billion yuan, and proposed 6 major layouts, including semiconductors, power grid plans, AI business opportunities, solar energy, energy storage and charging piles, rail market and foreign market expansion. Yailai has received an order of 2 billion yuan for Zuyuan static synchronous compensator, STATCOM, and is expected to win more orders. Despite the year-on-year decline in revenue in January, net profit after tax increased by 24.3% year-on-year last year, reaching a record high. News highlights: Nvidia is expected to report fourth quarter earnings next Wednesday, and the market is expecting its earnings to climb again. Analysts raised their price target on Nvidia to $190 from $180 as the supply of Blackwell B200 chips exceeded expectations, and big tech companies such as Amazon and Alphabet are expected to increase capital spending to continue buying Nvidia's AI chips. Analysts expect Nvidia to post fourth quarter revenue of $38.2 billion or earnings of 85 cents per share and remain optimistic about its future demand outlook, especially in the AI space. News highlights: the 3 major U.S. stock indexes fell on the 20th due to Walmart's financial forecast falling less than expected, causing concerns about the economic outlook, but Taiwan stocks were driven by TSMC, and the concentrated market rose more than 200 points to close to 23,700 points. Biopharmaceutical stocks are doing well, especially those with a Made in America theme. Chongsheng announced the plan of treasury stocks, and the stock price rose rapidly and maintained a strong price, driving related biomedical stocks such as Big Tree and Bayer Biomedical to rise simultaneously. Taifu KY also rose due to the completion of the merger of Bayer Ue Biotech, and the stock price quickly recovered and broke through the 5-day line. Biomedical newcomers such as Willy Biomedical and Hao Biomedical have also performed strongly and may become a market bright spot in the future. In addition, biomedical stocks are expected to benefit from U.S. tariffs due to the advantages of U.S. manufacturing. News highlights: in recent years, the housing market in the Dawin-Qingpu High-Speed Railway Special Economic Zone has performed well, with housing prices in the 3 major living circles rising by 16%, 25%. Despite the slowdown in transaction volumes, Qingpu property prices remain stable as the market recovers. The main buyers were Shuangbei and Hsinchu spillover buyers, retirees, and local home changers. The starting price of the pre-sale house is 6 to 7, the second-hand house is about 5, and the transaction price of commercial products is 450,000 to 550,000 yuan/ping. With the advancement of infrastructure projects such as the Cathay Life Development Project, the region has great potential for development and has long-term protection characteristics. News highlights: a fatal car accident occurred on Xinfu Road in Fengshan District, Kaohsiung City, where a woman was hit by 2 vehicles in a row and ran over to her death while crossing a zebra crossing at a yellow flashing intersection. The accident occurred on the night of the 17th, and the 2 drivers were transferred for investigation on the charge of negligent death. The intersection is located in front of the elementary school, and only the commuting time will turn to a traffic light, and the other hours will be a flashing yellow light. Nearby residents said that the light was dim, the speed was too fast, and they were prone to accidents, and called for improved traffic signals to improve safety. News highlights: a sexual assault scandal broke out in the Yulan police circle, involving a male police officer from a police station in the Yulan branch, who was suspected of sexually assaulting a female police officer in the same police station after drinking and taking intimate photos. After the female police case, the male police officer was detained and suspended from his post. The case occurred on the evening of the 17th, and the female police accused of being violently sexually assaulted by the male police officer and went to the hospital for an examination. After investigation, the court ruled that the male policeman was detained and forbidden to see him, and the case was investigated by the Yulan District Prosecutor's Office, which severely damaged the image of the police community. News highlights: the Taichung Liming Fire Brigade uncovered a fraud case of a pretending firefighter, in which a man surnamed Huang defrauded 3 women of money and a famous car as a firefighter, and used a photo of him wearing a firefighter training uniform to make the victim believe that he was a firefighter. The man surnamed Huang borrowed the air purifier, money, and Maserati from the victim, but did not return them. Finally, the Dong unit discovered that the man was not a firefighter and issued a warning announcement to prevent more people from being deceived. The man was also involved in a car accident last year and falsely claimed to be a firefighter. News highlights: Fu Kunking, the chief summoner of the Kuomintang Legislative Yuan, recently visited Hong Kong to promote tourism in Hualien, but was questioned about meeting with pro-China lawmakers. The report pointed out that Fu Kunking shared a table with a number of pro-China Hong Kong legislators at the dinner, and even had dinner with members of the CCP's United Front work. The DPP questioned whether Fu's trip involved sensitive political content, but Fu retorted, emphasizing that the itinerary was public, and questioned why, as a member of Congress, his life itinerary needs to be reported to the DPP. News highlights Kuomintang legislator Su Kioxin responded to the accusations of DPP Taipei City Councillor Hsu Shihua, clarifying that his mother was not Liu Pei, and released the transcript of household registration to prove that his mother was born in Taipei City, criticizing Su Shihua for spreading rumors and demanding an apology. Hui Shihua responded to the criticism and thanked for advice, and asked Su Kioxin to explain his family's doubts about the casino and fraud, emphasizing that he should focus on public affairs discussions. The two argued about ethnic issues and family backgrounds, and accused each other of shifting focus. News highlights the Taichung city government held a joint employment recruitment campaign on the 21st, providing more than 1,200 job vacancies for employees affected after the Shinkong Mitsukoshi gas explosion, including department stores and other service industries. The event attracted the participation of 17 manufacturers, providing 396 job vacancies, especially for job seekers with experience in department store services, to enhance their chances of admission. The city hopes to help affected employees find new career opportunities and encourage job changers to participate. News highlights artist Xiaohe was recently accused of breaking the scandal between Hu Guo and Song Yubeo, and was terminated by the boss Wu Zongxian and broke down emotionally. Xiaohe claimed that he was betrayed by his best friend, and apologized to Hu Guo and Song Yubeo, alleging that he had not made negative remarks. Song Yue appeared to speak out, saying that she would take legal channels, pointing out that it was not the first time that Xiaohe had done this, and was ready to disclose evidence. Yuexi also refuted Xiaohe by name, believing that his confession was to win sympathy, and emphasized that there was evidence in his hands. News highlights FanWiki, Fan, posted a public conversation with the doctor this morning to clarify the public opinion that she indirectly killed De-S, Su Ziwan. After De-S's death, FanWiki and Chen Jianzhou were accused of contracting the influenza virus, which caused De-S's condition to deteriorate. After FanWiki posted the doctor's dialogue, she deleted the article and sent it again, but the time and content of the screenshot were different, which caused netizens to speculate and question. Some netizens think that this may be the doctor's reply to FanWiki and the black man respectively. Fan did not elaborate further. News highlights Park Chun, a member of the South Korean girl group 2NE1, has recently frequently called actor Lee Min-ho her husband on social media and emphasized that what I write is true, which has attracted a lot of attention. Although Park Chun was later suspected of being controlled by the company to delete the relevant posts, on the 20th, she posted again to clarify that Lee Min-ho asked me to send it and stated that she was single. Lee Min-ho's agency MYM Entertainment responded on the same day that the two had no personal relationship and denied the authenticity of the relevant remarks. This incident caused confusion and caused some netizens to pay attention to Pu Chun's health status. News highlights the gas explosion accident at Shinkong Mitsukoshi's Taichung store has caused great distress to the industry and employees. Even after 9 days, employees are still unable to enter the museum to retrieve the goods. According to the industry, since the goods are still trapped in the museum, if this situation continues, the manufacturers may face a cash crisis because they have no goods to sell, which will lead to a wave of closures. Small and medium-sized brands are particularly concerned that if the situation persists for several months, they will not be able to withstand the pressure on rents and employee salaries. Some counter-sisters also complained about the company's improper handling of the situation, such as asking employees to take the bus to other branches to work, without providing reasonable transportation subsidies. Employees expressed dissatisfaction with the company's inhumane handling and criticized the company for failing to take into account the basic rights and interests of employees. News highlights the 2026 World Baseball Classic qualifying tournament will start on February 21st, and the Taiwanese team will be led by head coach Zheng Hejua and will be in the same group as Nicaragua, South Africa, and Spain in a single round-robin match at the Taipei Arena. Taiwan's 28-man roster, which includes stars such as Wang Jianmin and Peng Zhenmin, aims to qualify for the 2026 World Championships. The match will take place against Spain at 1900 hours on February 21st and will run until February 23rd. News highlights the Taipei Environmental Protection Bureau has launched an electric locomotive subsidy program to encourage citizens to replace old locomotives, with a subsidy of up to 32,300 yuan and a subsidy of 42,300 yuan for low and middle income households. Eligible citizens can apply for subsidies and choose to purchase new electric locomotives, or eliminate two-stroke locomotives to receive commuter monthly pass subsidies or awards. Applicants must have been resident in Taipei City for more than 1 year and meet the relevant requirements such as vehicle registration. For more information, please visit the online system or the official line. News highlights today, 21st, under the influence of the passage of the front and the strengthening of the northeast monsoon, it will turn cool and rainy in the north and northeast, with temperatures of 11 to 21 degrees, and about 13 to 25 degrees in other areas. There will be localized brief rain in the northern, eastern half in Matsu, and there will be a greater chance of rain on the north coast of Keelung and the mountainous areas of Greater Taipei. It is expected that the day after tomorrow, 23rd, will be affected by the cold air mass, and the whole Taiwan will cool down, and the coldest period will be the early morning from the 23rd to the 25th, with the north and northeast being wet and cold, the central and southern parts of the country being dry and cold, and some high mountains will have the chance of ice or snowfall. News highlights: Tang Seng, an internet celebrity in Henan, China, recently passed away due to myocardial infarction at the age of 37. He is famous for playing Tang Seng and performing off-road performances, especially his live performance on a blind date with the Princess of Kaifeng, which is deeply loved by netizens. The family confirmed his death through Douyin on the 18th and revealed that he left behind 2 young children. The condolence ceremony was held on the 19th, and many friends came to see him off for the last time, and many felt deep regret for his sudden death. News highlights: actress S. Su Ziwan, died of flu complicated by pneumonia on the 2nd of this month at the age of 48, causing grief among relatives, friends, and fans. However, there are accusations on the internet that her last party was on January 26, when Fan Wiki and Chen Jianzhou's son was hospitalized with flu and suspected of indirectly infecting Big S. After 19 days of silence, Fan Wiki issued a clarification on the 21st and shared a conversation with the doctor, proving that he was not infected with the flu, and pointed out that Chen Jianzhou was no longer infectious after the 25th. The doctor also reassured them that they did not need to blame themselves. News highlights: Indian 17-year-old female athlete Yashtika Acharya suffered a tragedy during training on the 19th. When she tried to lift the 272-kilogram lever, she lost her balance and the lever ran over her neck, causing her to die after being taken to the hospital in a coma. Akalaya, a former gold medalist at the National Youth Sports Championship, has a future in the spotlight, an accident that is deeply deplorable in the Indian sports community. News highlights: card god Yangwaru affected the 2018 incident of Taiwanese passengers trapped at Kansai Airport in Japan due to the direction of the Vertical Network Army, which blamed Xie Chongting, the representative in Japan, and led to the suicide of So Kikan, the director of the Osaka office. Yang was initially sentenced to 5 months in prison but later successfully applied for an interpretation of the Constitution, and the Constitutional Court found the relevant criminal law provisions unconstitutional and remanded the case to the High Court for retrial. After the retrial, the High Court finally ruled that Yang Waru and Cai Nan were exempted from prosecution and successfully escaped criminal responsibility. News highlights: Fan Wiki made a public conversation with the doctor today, 21st, to clarify the public opinion that the outside world accused her of indirectly killing the S. After she posted for the first time, because some netizens questioned the inconsistency between the time and content of the screenshot, she immediately deleted the article for the second time and republished it, but it once again caused heated discussions. Netizens found that the doctor's response in the 2 screenshots was slightly different, and speculated that it might be a reply sent by a different person. Fan Wiki did not respond to the repeated deletions and editing, which still made the outside world suspicious. News highlights: Ou Zhengming, the founder of Huanlong Technology, officially retired on January 14 and handed over the baton to his son Ou Renjia as the new chairman and general manager. However, only 37 days later, Huanlong Technology issued a heavy message on the 20th, announcing that Ou Zhengming passed away at the age of 81. Ou Zhengming, who was born in Shengang, Taichung, founded Huanlong Technology and dedicated himself to the field of power converters. His death shocked the industry, and the detailed reasons for his death have not yet been announced. News highlights: according to the latest TVBS poll, Ke Jianming, the chief of the DPP caucus, is only 20% satisfied, ranking last among the blue, green, and white parties, and the dissatisfaction is as high as 59%. By comparison, Huang Qiukang, the head of the People's Caucus, was 39% satisfied, and Fu Kunshan of the Kuomintang was 31%. This made senior media person Xia Hanbing bluntly say that the Green camp is facing difficulties, especially Ke Jianming's call for a general recall but unable to arouse support, and he may also lose his Aboriginal legislator seats, which will be a big challenge for the DPP. News highlights: Cao Xing Cheng faced the revelation of the intimate photo of a Chinese female mistress, strongly denied the authenticity of the photo and accused the celebrity Xia Hanbing of seeking 100 million yuan in damages, claiming that it was a smear for political purposes. Chu Yi analyzed that the root cause of the problem is not the infiltration of the CCP, but related to the heroine's private entanglement and financial problems, and believes that Cao Xingcheng's crisis management has failed to properly solve the problem, but has made the situation more complicated. He pointed out that Cao should have put the focus back on the heroine rather than misleading the direction, and said that Xia Hanbing's behavior was more benevolent and avoided greater harm. News highlights: Democratic Progressive Party, DPP, legislator Lin Dehua was investigated and searched on suspicion of fraudulently paying assistant fees, which attracted the attention of the outside world. Media personality Wang Qunkai believes that the DPP's interference in the primary election has reached a green terror, and if it continues, it may become a nightmare for the DPP in 2026. Lin Dehua denied the accusations and issued a statement saying that he would insist on being unyielding and pay a bail of 1 million yuan to restrict his exit and residence.